Recently proclaimed the month of April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Also, April 3rd through the 9th is Crime Victims' Rights Week, and all month long activities and events will be held to inform the community and raise awareness of this. Now, join me this evening is someone you're very familiar with, Attorney General of Guam Leonardo Rapadas and Christine Purvis-Cruz. She is a victim's advocate. Thank you both for being here tonight. Half a day.
It's half a day. It's great to be here.
Okay, great to have you back too. I know you've been working a lot, especially with us, so we do appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, so Crime Victims' Rights Week seems, Mr. Attorney General, rather self-explanatory, but it actually goes deeper than that. So maybe you can explain the full purpose of it.
Right. It's to celebrate, honor the victims of crime out there. Whenever we think of victims of crime, we think of the most heinous of crimes, murder, sexual assault, kidnapping, those sorts of things. But it's also victims of other crimes, burglaries, and just assaults, aggravate, the lesser crimes. But they're no less important than the other victims. Of course, the murder victims evoke a more emotional response, but it's to honor and celebrate all of the victims. Mm-hmm.
And so the scope is actually quite broad.
The scope is pretty broad, and I don't want to, I would like it to be, Crime Victims' Rights Day. Everyone recognizes every day as that, mm-hmm. because that's what it should be. We all have to be aware of that. But there are just so many other things that we're working on that, at least for this moment in time, we want to at least focus our time and energy and hopefully bring up the awareness of victims' rights. And there is a Victims' Bill of Rights. And one thing that at the beginning of the session, you mentioned a couple of dates, and I believe dates are actually...
actually, the dates are from April 10th to April 16th.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what we want to do. We want to honor the victims mm-hmm. of crime.
Okay, so Christine, I know the spotlight, given this event, probably shines on you and your colleagues mm-hmm. More often than not, more often than usual, I should say. What is typically your role and that of the people you work with in assisting victims of crime across the board?
As a victim advocate, my role or our role is we provide victim with. We actually, we guide them through the criminal justice system, let them know what's going on with their case, whether or not the defendant's been magistrated, confined, or released. That's actually our job. Also,
well, many times the victims, like us at the very beginning, you guys, news people, you don't know what the system is like. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the advocates' duties, is to kind of go through the system with them, and then make them aware of what's happening in everyone's particular cases. Like today, the advocates drove me here today, so we provide transportation.
Yeah, also child care, also restitution. Mm-hmm. Parole notification. If they're getting released and they're going to go on parole, then we notify them. Basically, we're there from the beginning of the case until the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume, like you said, the whole process is undoubtedly very foreign, very confusing, and also probably very scary for those who go through it and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So how do you guys address, in addition to being costly in certain cases, I would assume, so like what is typically the process, say like if someone got involved in a certain, maybe like a white collar crime and everything like that, how would you help them through the process?
Well, white collars is, it's kind of difficult. We're more, again, we're used to the violent crimes.
Okay, sure.
So if, for instance, there is a crime that was committed, almost from the very beginning, you'll have the victim advocates involved. Say we have an aggravated assault or family violence situation, mm-hmm. a real violent family violence case. GPD will obviously be involved. Prosecutors will be involved at the very beginning of the magistrate system, and then by then the advocates would have gotten involved, and we'd know who the victims are. So they would be, basically starting from the beginning, mm-hmm. reaching out to them, and letting them know what's going on. And many times they need emotional support and are involved in some of the interviews, but they're not witnesses to a case, mm-hmm. but they're there to show support, and that's some of the things that Christine does with the other advocates in mm-hmm. addition to that.
So your jobs, both of you, and also the people you work with, actually goes probably a lot deeper than that would be at first glance, and probably what the community knows and everything, hence the purpose for this activity. So there's also a network that you guys deal with, like various organizations like on Guam and everything. Maybe talk a little bit about, the other organizations that you guys deal with when you're helping people.
Sure.
Of course, we work with CPS, Adult Protective Services, Healing Hearts, Rape Crisis Center. If people need, sometimes they come to our office to, wanting restraining orders, we refer them to the Public Defender's Office or also to Guam Legal Services. Who else? Oh, we also work with, I'm trying to think.
Vero?
Yes, especially Vero, and also Guam Police Department Victim Assistance Unit. We work closely with those agencies.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we got to wrap up, kind of limit on time tonight. But maybe from each of you, maybe if I can get maybe about 20 seconds or just a statement about what should victims of crime on Guam know that they typically don't, and what can they carry with them as far as dealing with your organization and like actually going through the process, should they ever have to?
Yeah, well, they should know they're not alone. Many times they think they're alone, but because there is this network that Christine was talking about, you're not alone. There's always someone to talk to, whether it be the police department, our office, or a counselor, someone to speak with regarding their case. I would like to add, though, that we do have an event next week on the 12th, April 12th, at the Harvest Christian Academy to highlight. This is kind of our crown jewel of events that occur. So there'll be more out on this. Okay.
Now, Christine, what would you advise to people?
I would tell them that there's help out there, and some victims are really scared and think the first thing they should do is call the police.
Okay.
And also, I forgot to include that Alley Shelter is one of the people that we go to also.
Yes.
We refer.
Okay. Well, Christine, Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.